Hey Bailey, just taking a look at your animation submission here. So let's take a look. I'm going to start from the side. So I will do an in here with the red foot back. Cool. I'll do it out there. Cool. Yeah, this is looking great. I mean, it's looking great. So let's get into the nitty gritty. So there's a little, there may be a little errant key on your shoulders here. It's no big deal, but just know it's there. You see that little wiggle? It could be on the upper chest or the shoulders, not sure. Oh, I see. It's not all on the same frame. Okay, so I'll just take a look at the feet for now. All right, on this pose here, I would lay, if it's not, I would make sure that this foot is completely flat on the ground. Yep, that's it. And this foot, maybe you could translate it back a little bit in space. Because, you know, we're walking on a treadmill, but if the treadmill's moving, maybe the foot, you know, is like back here. And that would kind of straighten out this leg a bit if it had to cover a little more distance. I think it'll just be like a more solid pose. Yep, just a thought. This looks great. Yep. This looks great. I'm not sure if it'll have to be back a little bit if we move that other one back. You decide on the spacing of that, but it's strong. Nice passing pose here. Maybe I would overall maybe bring this foot down a little bit at this point. Bring it where the toe is just being held up off the ground a little bit, but make it as energy efficient for your character as possible, you know, because here I definitely feel like the knee's up too high, the foot's up too high. It starts to make it more like a march, you know, not like a natural walk. So I would do that, just lower down that foot a little bit, and it's going to lower down this foot a little bit. Cool. I would play around with opening up the hips a little bit more for this forward step, like we'd see a little bit more of the backside of the pelvis to make that reach happen a little bit. And then also I feel like maybe this foot should be moved back, and we should get some more toe bend to really emphasize how it's like at its limits of how far back it can move before it feels it has to lift up off the ground, you know. But yeah, I think all the notes on this back half, you know, are gonna from the front half apply to the back half as well. But those are tiny things, just tiny little foot pose adjustments a little bit. Oh, like this is a nice, see what you got going on? I like what you got going on the hip here. I would just put that, like bias it a little bit more in this pose towards where you're going on this pose with that rotation. So have it almost be this, just a little bit backed off. So this one looks great, but on the pose before, I would just back it out of there a little bit so that we're not seeing the side so much. I want to pay attention. Okay, cool. I think there might be a little bit more you can do with the up and down of the center of gravity, because, you know, like here I'm seeing this line, and then here it's this line, which isn't that big of a change going up, but then here should be like its highest, right? And if you raise it up enough where this leg is straight, then it's going to give you a nice kind of contrast, a nice kind of like a bouncing feeling, you know, like you could still leave this heel on the ground, I'm not saying lift it up that much. I don't know where your knee is going to be. But yeah, I would raise up your pelvis a bit and really pay attention to the up and down. And this is where it should be the lowest in this pose. You know what I mean? One of these two poses is where it's going to be the lowest. It doesn't have to be the same on everybody's walk, but yeah, I think because when I watch it play back at speed, like the center of gravity is pretty flat. It's kind of lacking a lot of TY. Small stuff. All right, so now I'll kind of look at your hands and arms. Well, these might even be kind of on ones going through here. But take a look at your spacing on stuff. I'll try to go through it as if it's on ones. I'm not seeing your upper arm move at all, like in the first 3 frames, 4 frames maybe. And then it goes from here to here in 1 frame, which is a sizable change, maybe fine, but then goes to here, which I feel is like a diminished change. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's check it out. And then, yeah, so I don't know. I think maybe the arms just haven't, like, what do I say? Do a pass and kind of bring the arms into something that makes, that's a little more, let's see. I think you just have to pay attention to the spacing of what's going on with the arms. Because also, when you loop them, you know, if I'm looking from here to here, like that's a huge jump. But from here to here is a really small jump. And I kind of feel like the spacing on your arms should be opposite, right? So ideally, I think you'd want a bunch of the arm poses to be closer when it comes to slow here and slow out here, and then in the middle. So let me draw this better. I don't know if I'm going to be able to draw it better, but I'm going to try. So let's say this is like your arm. I'm going to ignore that the elbow ever bends. But this is your upper arm. It feels like, you know, when you come out of this move, you want the spacing to gradually increase until you get into the front, where it like decreases and comes to a stop, and then you kind of like reverse that in the other direction, right? So pay attention to your upper arm and the spacing that you're getting there. Also, it feels like you kind of have this this shape change on your torso, where here it's kind of like bent forward in a C shape, and then here it like almost reverses in the opposite C shape. So I drew those 2 C shapes exaggerated just to like for illustration purposes. And I'm not saying like the top torso has to be like totally the same, but if you watch like the head seems like it has a lot of hitches and bumps in it and stuff, and that may be coming from that little like that little forward back torso adjust. I would also just get a tiny little rotation up and down on your head, trying to get a little like anticipation, overlap is what I mean to say. Overlap and follow through a little bit on the chin to react to the up and down movement that is going to be happening here. So once you're done with this, yeah, like get a little rotation on the head. But otherwise, I think it's looking pretty good. So I would hit those notes and feel free to go into spline, and you know, we could probably move towards wrapping this up in like 2 weeks, maybe 3, depending on progress. So yeah, I know that's maybe a lot of like tiny little notes. This is looking solid, like it's put together. Oh, I should look at it from the other view as well. Pardon me. So let's see, we want the in to be here, the out to be here. Yeah, cool. So yeah, this is looking great. Yeah, so what you should do is get a pose on the fingers, you know, make the hands, get them off of these paddles, because super robot paddles. Just try to get like a natural kind of relaxed pose on them. Um, and then when you work the arms and you're swinging them forward and back, like right now they're kind of just existing in this spacing, and I think you want to try to get them where they go, you know, in as they swing forward, and then as they swing back, they do like this. Because if you look at, you know, the person from the top down, this is the shoulder joint. That's like where the arm swing is initiating from. So it's gonna, the natural arcs are kind of gonna be like this, swinging around the body, like that. Yeah, and then just watch, like there's some kind of, like when I watch this red foot here, there's like a big kind of jump there that catches my eye, and then it goes out from here, you know what I mean? And I know I talk about not leaving them locked in one plane, but while it's on the ground, it should kind of go straight back, and only when it gets picked up. So maybe this is pushing it out one pose too soon. When you pick it up, maybe that's when you want to start building in the arcs. Like when I was talking about the arcs on your hands, a similar arc on your foot. Although maybe the foot arc goes in and out like that. You can play with it, whatever you like. Yeah. Yeah, but play with that. All right, this looks great. Keep it up. I look forward to seeing your submission next week. All right, bye.